Hello everyone, this is Awkward Audrey and welcome to my art hour. So today we will be going and watercoloring what I had previously sketched on my last art hour. Thank you for everyone who was there for that one. I hope you enjoy this next one where we got to actually put some color into the space. And also thank you for your patience. Like last week was a little bit more exhausting for me than I thought it would be. Like I knew it was going to be, which is why I spaced things out like I did with the sketching and then the drawing, but and then the painting for today. But it was still a little too much for me at that time. So here we are. We're finally getting to paint this lady, and I did some research onto how to paint at a like 3/4 angle, and getting in preparation for that, I thought, oh, it'd be fun to like put on some makeup, and paint this face and kind of get into the zone of how what tones to use and what shading I want, and ultimately what I'm going to try and do with this face is I'm going to have her try to look natural, but if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't go natural, then what you can always do, hi Kathy, what you can always do if it starts to look like you darken some areas for it to look not natural, um, or you put a different color where you didn't intend it to be, you can just turn it from a natural look into a makeup look. Or it's like your lips don't quite look right. It's a makeup. It's lipstick. She put on lipstick. Her eyeline is too dark. Huh, that's eyeliner. Her cheeks are a little bit too pink. Blush. Totally write it off. It's totally much easier if you try to start natural and then add some like, oh, if you make a mistake, you can just try and sell it as makeup rather than the other way around. um, so with that, I also wanted to show you a couple of things that we will be using today. I will be using my handy dandy reference mirror just in case I need to see things from. I did look at reference photos before going at this, before in preparation for this, but it's always handy to have a living subject in front of you. I will be using my watercolors as I previously have done, but since these are fun for like traveling, I think, and now I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to be a little bit more nuanced with watercolors. I have two more things to include with these. One is a bigger palette, not just like a little bowl I mixed in colors in. And I also recommend, of course, always using white. This is an off-white, kind of yellowish, and I can see the colors just fine, but it's not going to look the same in here as it will on the paper. But right now this suits just my needs just perfectly. It's the right size, and it's waterproof, so that's really all I want from there. I just want a bigger palette so I can try out some different skin tones. And then also, what I bought for myself, I bought some actual paintbrushes that have different sizes and shapes. And it says that it is ideal for watercolors, oils, and acrylics, and I bought 2 sets just in case I accidentally ruined this set. But I am excited because this means I can go in with some finer detail, or I can go in with some greater detail. However, I decide I'm not stuck with one size brush, which these only have. So yeah, on that note, let's get started, and I'll show you. Hi Cindy, hi Mom. I will show you some of the changes I've made from the sketch that I did last time, and the reasons why. So now let's flip around this camera here. Okay. So I couldn't figure out what to do, what on earth she was so perturbed about. So I decided that it could be up to the viewer what it was that she was upset about, and I decided to go, what the heck and heck, because sometimes you want to use colorful language, but you're not in a place to do so. So, what the heck and heck. Um, by the way, lettering is very difficult, generally speaking. So if you ever do want to do lettering, always have a ruler so you can keep sizes consistent, top to bottom, left to right. And then also I recommend using straight lines instead of curved lines, unless you can help it. Unless you have practiced calligraphy or know how to go about making curved lines consistently, straight lines are just best to start with when it comes to lettering. All right, on to the face. So as you can see, I've cleaned her up a bit and she looks a little bit more refined. The details are a little bit more tighter and precise than when I was previously drawing. And there is a reason for that. I'm actually going to turn the camera back around. So when this will happen across the board, whenever you're drawing, if you are looking at an angle, if you're drawing and you're looking at an angle and not straight on, your drawing is going to look a little bit different than how you intended. And that was obviously true for me. I had a camera, I had to watch both the camera and the canvas at the same time. And so when I was drawing, and by the time I turned off the Facebook Live and I was putting all my supplies away, and I actually went and looked at my drawing face on, I was like, oh, okay, I see why this looks a little bit off from what I was imagining. So whenever you are drawing, try to keep it as face on as possible so you can see it at the right angle. And this can happen at any time. Just because I had a camera does not mean you're going to have a camera. But if you're like sitting down watching TV, you know, and you're sitting, you have your drawing on your lap rather than like on a table, you know, the surface is going to move a little bit. And so when you go to draw at an angle, it has to be a little bit more precise. It might look a little different because in like 10 minutes you're going to kind of shift because, you know, your butt's going to get a little sleepy and you're going to have to kind of shift a little bit, and then, oh, you're drawing at a different angle. Surprise, surprise. So whenever you are drawing, try to keep that angle consistent and as face on as possible. That's all I'm going to share about that. Some of the other details that I changed was when, let's see, I cleaned up the outline of the hair a little bit, and I decided to just make the outermost line the boldest, and then all the details inside will be lighter in the actual painting. It's very clear now where the scrunchie is. I kind of tightened it and pulled it a little bit further closer to the head. With this eyebrow is, let's see, I can pull it in here. You can kind of see where it was previously. It was a little bit more in the forehead than I wanted, so I pulled it over to the side after looking at some reference photos. Also, after looking at some reference photos, I decided that her eyes were too big than they should be, and that is a common thing to do by accident, I think, nowadays, because when we see a drawing, it's a very stylistic choice to make the eyes a little bit bigger. And so you know, these eyes are probably still a little bit bigger than a natural person's eyes would be, but I decided to keep them smaller than before. Hi, Dan. So I decided to take the line that I had used for her eye and just make it into her eyelid and make the eyes smaller. And finally, what I did with the eyes is I made this eye, I erased it and put it down a little bit so that it was more evenly across. In my original drawing, the eyes looked a little bit cockeyed, haha, and they were just a little bit off, and I didn't want that to be distracting. So I pulled that down a little bit further, so that we could get that intensity of the look without it being distracting. Let's see, what other changes did I make? Oh, yes. As you can see, I had previously had the jawline way out here. I decided that didn't look quite right. That looked a little bit too long, so I shortened it a little bit. And when I went to go draw ears and I did research on how to draw ears, I learned that apparently there's some debate. Some people think that it is debatable about where the eyes fall, or where the ears fall in reference to the rest of the face. So I decided to just kind of cover up the ear a little bit. It's going to be covered up, and I'm not going to think about it too hard. I can get more into that later about ears, but that's not really the point of today's today's video. So we're not going to go into that too much today. Let's see, what other changes did I make? Oh yes, when I would, as you can see, I had the jawline, right? And when you're sketching, that's fine, have a strong jawline. But when you go to paint, and as you will see today, it'll be, there's going to come a point where the surface that you're looking at is less at an angle than the rest of it. So I decided to kind of erase this area and soften it a little bit, because that is where the face, where the chin is kind of actually more angled toward you, right? And so where this is more angled away, and it's going to be a harsher line, same with the jawline. So I decided to soften that up a bit. Finally, it was, let's see, I did the shoulders. I looked at reference photos for the shoulders and made them a little bit less severe. One, because she is a woman, and she's clearly not wearing shoulder pads. These are her natural shoulders, so they don't need to be as harsh. But also, because she's hunching over at this angle, if she had good posture, you would not be able to see this arm at all. The shoulder would probably be up back here and then come straight down, and you wouldn't be able to see it at this profile. So I decided that just being able to hint at a little bit over here, not being as dramatic as I had previously done, would make it get the point across that her shoulders were relaxed, a little bit hunched over, but not overly so, and not stressed from good posture or anything like that. All right, with that, I think that is everything. I'm going to go through with my kneaded eraser and start lifting the graphite from the paper so I can begin painting. Do you have any questions for me so far? Just so you know, because it's warmer out, this kneaded eraser is more melty than normal, so I have to kind of put it back into shape a little bit more frequently than I had done in the past. But I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that, because it means the weather is warmer, the sun is out, and this year in particular, oh, somebody's calling. I'm not going to answer that. And this year in particular, I was really glad to kind of move on into the next phase of my life, and able to do that. Being able to do that and kind of having that feeling of a new year and fresh spring is actually quite a relief. I was not expecting it, but I'm really glad that I'm able to experience it. Okay. And wow, I really dug into some of these corners here with my pencil. And this is why you have different types of pencils, I think. So you don't have to get that severe with the pencil. Oh, I like the jawline better now. Right? It just seems it seems more realistic rather than cartoonish. I had contemplated with her actually like holding a paintbrush, because this trying to decide what the heck I was going to do with this empty space was causing me quite a lot of stress. So I was like, maybe she should just be like, draw what I know, and she should be holding a paintbrush, trying to figure out what to do with life. But this decision for that was actually really simple. I decided not to do that because, and this is very selfish of me, I didn't want to draw a hand. I didn't want to draw a hand, okay? It's a little bit too much. That's a whole other art hour. Hands are hard. Hands are fun to draw. Don't get me wrong. But they are hard. If you get it wrong, if you get the size wrong, get the fingers wrong, get the position wrong, it doesn't look right. And it's very obvious it doesn't look right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Now I don't need to erase this as much because I will be going over this with darker lines, but I like to keep my options open. Maybe because it's supposed to replace colorful language, I'll make these letters more colorful. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. Now on to her face. Now what I watched quite a few videos on how to paint a face. And by the way, very interesting. I think that is, like, you could do a whole tutorial in and of itself on just how to paint skin tones. Let's see. And this. But mostly, like with most watercolor, you start with a base color, and most human skin tones are somewhere between like a red and a yellow. And one of the tutorials I watched, which was really good, said, yep, orange is kind of where you want to go, and depending on how vibrant you want it, you can either have a vibrant orange like skin tone, like they were sun-kissed, or if you want to neutralize it, you just add have the same kind of what was it? You want to have the same value to it, but you don't want it to be so bright. You just add the complementary color to it. So orange, yellow, and blue are good ways to go about doing that. So for her, I decided what I was thinking of doing was I was going to have her be fairly light-skinned, and maybe some freckles that I'll add at the end, and have like a dark brown hair. And because I really like how when I was drawing these eyes, I was like, wow, these kind of just make me think of husky eyes. I kind of want to see if it's possible to do like that bright blue, but we'll see what actually happens. Yeah. Okay. Now that I have a bigger bowl, I can have a bigger palette. Orange. Yellow, lots of yellow. And let's see how that goes. Let's break into the paintbrushes. Well, trying to break into paintbrushes. Turns out it's not that easy. Ah, good times. See, like, what is this? I don't know. I just want to paint. Okay. Serious. I can do this. I really can. Okay. So we're going to use this to wet the paper. And then I think we'll use, let's use this to mix colors, and similar size, this to kind of get the color onto the paper. And then we'll go in with all these other ones for finer details. Oh, look at that. Isn't that so tiny? It's so tiny. I love it. Okay, here we go. We're serious though. All right. Let's mix these colors and see how I want to do this. Okay. I think I want it to be just a tad neutralized. So we're going to just add a little bit of blue. A little bit of blue. All right. There we go. Like that. Now let's get into the face. Move some of these supplies out of the way. I don't need the eraser anymore. All right. All right. So we're going to kind of go up into the hairline here. One of the things that is good to know when drawing a hairline or painting a hairline is that, oh, there's a spot I missed. Get that cheekbone out of there. Is that when the hairline is not as severe, if you're going to do it cartoonishly, that's fine. But generally speaking, it is not so severe, and you add little hair strokes to it to add to show the hairline, but it's not just it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be flesh color with some hair strokes going like that. And since I have never really painted a face before, this could really go either way. This could be a warning on how not to do it. We can see here what I'm doing is I'm going through and I am watering the face, but I am avoiding the eyes and the hair. The hair itself. Up into the hairline, but not the hair. Going into the hair itself. Let's see. There we go. And then we'll have a nice clean edge around the collar there. All right. So now we're going to just kind of start softly with a little bit of color and see what happens. That's very, very yellow. Let's see if we can choose a little bit more of an orangey spot. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I don't want it to be too yellow. I'm a little less thrilled with this color than I thought I would be. It's not coming out as orange as I thought it would. Okay. More blue. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna put down stuff on the face and kind of see from there, now that I actually see it on paper, what it is I want. Okay. All right. More blue indeed. Oh. Yeah. Added a little too much blue. Oh well. You can get to see it kind of leach out there. Spread out. Ah, it's still so pretty when it does that. We might just make her more abstract. It just might be how this has to go. I'm gonna add a little bit more orange. And hopefully we'll be able to get a color that's workable. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more workable. We're not trying to add a lot of color. We're just trying to add some color so that she's not unpainted. Let's see. Let's see. Guys, I'm super not enthused with what's happening here. This is really not what I was imagining. At all. Okay. Let's see if I can pick up some more of this color. Well, I think this we can call a disaster. We are going to ignore all of that. None of it. Nope. I'm not having it. It's not gonna work. Okay. So I think we're not gonna do more orange like that one lady really seemed to know about. We're gonna do a little bit more red. So that this girl's gonna have some pink in her tone. That's it. That's all we're gonna do. Nothing fancy. And maybe on top of this already yellow face, that could look bad. I'm not gonna worry about it too much though. Okay. Let's get some water back on here. Okay. 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 The paper's kind of warping now. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more pink-ish undertones, and then we're going to let it dry. Okay. So, as you can see, this clearly did not go as intended, but we learned a lot here because there are some areas on this that really do look quite skin toned. Ignoring the forehead because I didn't pick up that color quick enough, and that is now part of the painting. I do like this area here with the cheek. It has that kind of that right pinkish yellowish look to it, in my opinion. I do like how it kind of gets a little bit darker towards the temple, and I'll be working with that once it dries. And let's see. And it's a little bit darker over here because it's farther away and the light source is coming from like over our left shoulder. Other than that, though, there's a couple things that are left to be desired. One, I should have erased more of the pencil. As you can see, it's still very clearly there. So when I go in with details, I'm going to have to really work with those in order to make it look coherent and not like I just was lazy and didn't pick up all of the all of the painting or all of the graphite. With that in mind, I'm going to go through with the rest of this and try and pick up as much of the graphite as I can on paint parts I have not painted yet. Oh. Lord Almighty, I need help. Thanks, Kathy. You're so supportive. You're so supportive. I need it. I need all this. I need all the help I can get, honestly. Okay. Okay. Right. And on that note, I'm actually going to, I forgot it's still attached to the notepad. You don't need to have it still attached to the notepad, so I'm going to carefully take it out, and so we don't have to worry about it warping on the piece of paper. It'll have something more solid to warp against. Okay, there we go. It's so warm out compared to previous weeks. Man. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna refill this because this looks like apple juice. I'm gonna say apple juice. I'll be right back. Alright. Better. It's better. Okay. See, and then there's just like, this is so pretty. Look at that. That is so pretty. I should paint that. Okay. So now, what do I want to do? Because I'm not feeling so confident with the skin tone right now. And so I think I'm just going to kind of let that sit while I fill in other details, to be honest. Because if I'm not feeling confident about it, I would like to kind of work on a part of it that will give me more confidence, then try to fix something and then go with that area with a little bit more confidence and maybe a little bit more structure than right now. So right now I don't have as much confidence, and it is not something I want to, paint myself into a corner, if you will. So we're going to give her some dark brown, kind of reddish hair, I think. Oop. Okay. Ugh. Okay. And I think for this one, what we will do is we will go and outline where the hairline will be. And then with the tiny brush, and kind of get a feel for how that will go before committing to the rest of the to the whole hair as a look. So let's kind of start where the part was going to be. Okay. And since she has slightly unruly hair, excuse me, I'm so sorry. That means that it's not going to be, and it's slightly loose. It means it's not going to be conformed to the shape of her head very well. So what I did here is I've had this kind of be big waves towards the top of the head, where it's most likely to be constricted by the weight of the hair and the shape of the head, and then towards the ponytail area, it's going to be a little bit more wavy, a little bit more erratic looking, and ultimately poof, have a poof come out for here. Okay. How has your week all been going so far? Anything interesting happening in your lives? Went to game night on Friday, and I got to hang out with one of my friend's cats. Super adorable. Super adorable cat. And because these friends have a couple of kids under 3, it's a very attention-starved cat. And so it's more than willing for me to let it be, to pet it for as long as possible. I bought flowers to pot on the deck. Oh, yes, this is the season to do it. Oh man. There were some, the flowers all around my work are starting to bloom now, and oh, the air smells so good. And like the air already smells so good anyway because there's baked goods. But oh man. And then there's a lilac tree nearby where I live that's in bloom. And that is just, it smells so wonderful. Okay. let's go crazy. As you can see, I'm very lightly painting at the hairline. Nothing serious. I'm not committing too much to stark lines. Okay. We're gonna leave that ear dry. All right, let's go in with some color. Okay, yeah, see? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. Now, let's go in for this little twirl that's in front of the ear. There we go. Ooh, I like that. Okay. I'm going to rotate it so I can move with the natural rotation of my hand. And we're going to start working gently into the hairline. Okay, hey, it's looking pretty decent. All right. There we go. Back to a paintbrush. Yeah, I decided I wanted different types of brushes, and everything. Hey, Shannon. Oh, it's Shannon. Hi. Happy Sunday. So to catch you up to speed, the skin tone didn't go quite so well, so I'm working on the hair, and to kind of build up my confidence again. And then once that is a little bit more defined and I have a better idea of what the overall look is going to be for the hair and everything else, I can go in with a little bit more confidence on the face and skin. Okay, now this is a dark spot, so we need to give it some pigment. Okay. And your hair is a little bit on the crazier side of things, Shannon. Any pieces of advice or wisdom on what crazy hair kind of looks like when it's put into a side ponytail like that? My hair is pretty tame. It's just got the frizz factor that goes on. The frizz is quite a sight to behold, but easily manageable with product and a hair straightener. It looked like my brow Too Faced, right? She's definitely got a look about her. Just kind of give you an idea of what's going on. She's gonna have a grumpy face, and at the top says, "What the heck and heck." And that's what this painting's gonna be all about. What the heck and heck? Because we all have those days in our lives where we just kind of look around ourselves and go, "Huh, well, what the heck and heck's going on? That doesn't make any sense." Hmm. Okay. I think more details can be added, but we should wait until it dries. So we're going to go on to the second part of the hair. Okay. Let's get it wet. Frizzy. So maybe when I go to add more details about this hair, we're going to have flyaways coming from all sides at all angles. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go. Alright, let's add some darker pigment. And I might have put a little too much water on towards the tip there. But I think it'll be fine. Oh yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm drying my brush. Okay, so my brush is completely dry. And then I'm gonna pick up some water with the paintbrush. There we go. Because what I want to do is I want to add more pigment, but because there's too much water on the paper, it's not going to stay. It's going to move around a little bit too much. So we're going to kind of push the water where we want it to go, pick it up with the paintbrush, let the paintbrush soak it up, and then we're going to add color. Okay. There we go. Ta-da! Different lengths of frizz. Excellent. We'll do that. Okay. I'm gonna indicate that hair is coming in front of her face like this with this clean line that covers up the hairline. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Take a step back. See where the hair is. Okay. Okay, I am more pleased with the hair than I am with the skin. That is nice. I'm okay with that. We're going to let the hair dry, and we're going to move on to the lettering. So in order to do that, I am going to break out my colors, and I'm going to break out black. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of black. Come on. Sure, there we go. Focus. Put some black right there. And now we're going to paint the what the in black. There we go. And I'm going to be using my tiny brush. She definitely has jaundice right now. She definitely has jaundice right now. That will be fixed. But unfortunately, I didn't pick up enough of the pigment when I realized I was making mistakes, and that part is just always going to be a little too yellow. Okay. So what I'm doing is oh, come on, focus, focus. There we go. So what I'm doing is I am putting my paintbrush gently down on the paper, and I'm pulling it towards me. My hand is staying in the same spot, but I am pulling it towards me. I'm pulling my fingers towards me. That way it is less wobbly. Okay. And as always with lettering, go slow. Because it's very difficult to fix letters once they're ruined. I'm holding my breath here. Whew. Okay. So now I'm painting from the side so I can do these back and forth motions to create the letters. There we go. Dun, Dun, dun. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me today. I'm not exactly in like the most entertaining of moods, but I also am looking really forward to seeing how this turns out. And usually at this point I would by myself just like turn on Netflix or something. But I like the idea that I'm with a group of people too. Should always have art buddies. Oh, somebody did a little heart. That's so nice. Oh, thanks, Kathy. That's a very nice thing to say. And do, because you're doing it. You're hanging out with me. Oh, yeah. Whew. Okay. This is intense, guys. This is a little intense. Okay, let's see if there's anything I can do to make these letters look a little more consistent. Kind of define the tails a little bit more. Make the tops of these a little bit more on the same level and same width. Try a little bit of corner to them. Okay. What the... Okay. Let that dry. And see how the hair's doing. Okay. The hair is pretty dry. That's good. That's good. All right. Now let's do let's do the eyes. Terrifying, I know, but I think if I can figure out what the eyes look like and how they're shaped and try to make them look like they're both the same size, I feel like I can be able to figure out the rest of the face. Okay. So earlier I said I wanted blue eyes, but since she seems to have warmer skin tones, I'm thinking maybe either a green or a brown. I think I'll go with a green, like a hazel maybe, even. Okay. So we're gonna go with green and see how it goes, I think. And as you may recall from when we were sketching, we are not going to see the top or the bottom of her irises. Hi, Sam! Because she has her suspicious face on. Because she has her suspicious face on, her bottom eyelid is drawn up, and it's going to cover the bottom part of her iris. Love you too! We've decided that she looks like she's having jaundice. She's got jaundice on the brain, on the skin, on the everywhere, on the liver, just everywhere. Okay. Let's see. These are very vibrant green. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the pigment. Just a little bit. And see what I can do with that. Okay. So now that we have the green, it's a hint of green. What we can do is we can add layers of darkness to show shadow from the eyelid and on the rim of the iris. Okay. Cool. But we're not going to do one on the bottom because there's no shadow coming from the bottom eyelid, and that is not where the rim of the iris is. So we're going to leave that be. We will have some at the center though. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. And we're not going to do the pupils just yet because I want there to be black on the pupils, but I don't want it to accidentally bleed out into the iris, so we're going to let that dry completely before adding the pupils. Okay, so now that I have that going on, I feel a little bit more confident about how I want to go shaping this eye with color. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we want to do. So we can't lighten this up, not without serious help. So what we can do is we can go for a high contrast, a higher contrast, not high contrast, but a higher contrast look, so that this yellow does not appear as yellow as it is. It'll still be very yellow, it just won't appear to be as yellow. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on the lips. Let's do some lips. So I'm going to take the color, a little bit of the color that we already have here, and I'm going to add a little more pink to it, or more red, on the one side. And that we'll use as our natural, it'll kind of be a matchy-matchy kind of color. Okay. Start with a light pink. That has a little bit of that brown tint. Now when painting or coloring lips, the top lip is always going to be darker than the bottom lip. And the reason why is because light coming from the top, like from overhead, is going to create a shadow across that top lip, that top upper lip, that the bottom lip is going to catch. So the lighter lip is always going to look a little bit lighter than the top lip. Okay. And now we're going to kind of, since lips generally don't have such definition, you're going to kind of blend it out just a smidge, just the tiniest of smidges. We're going to blend it out into the skin, and I really, really hope I can do that with a paintbrush. The tutorials that I have seen on how to do on how to paint lips show that generally speaking is very difficult to do, and you have to bring in, unless you're going for that bolder look, you have to bring in other materials to, like colored pencils, to get the right look. It's not to say there's no definition, because lips definitely have definition, but natural lips, it's not as clear cut. Okay. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? That look kind of acceptable? I think so. For now. I might go in later once it's dried and add some more detail. But for the most part, I like the shape. I like the color. The pout. I like the pout. So we're just gonna kind of. I know I'm touching it up right now, but I'm just gonna, generally speaking, leave it like this. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Now for the no bright red lipstick. I'm already wearing the bright red lipstick. She can be a little bit more toned down than me. Like, for reference. This is what lipstick will look like. She can be a little bit more toned down. Okay. Now, let's see. It is slightly bothering me that ear is not colored in, but we're one little baby step at a time, right? Okay, these eyes are dry, so let's go on shading around the eye. Just a tad, just a smidge. And to do that, I think we are going to go with blue. We are going to do shading with blue instead. That could be a terrible idea. It could be a great idea. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. No. This piece of paper. This piece of paper I'm going to test and see how the blues come out. I'm so paranoid. I really don't want this to be super bold. Yep, that would have been bold. Nope. I don't want it that way. I don't want it to be that bold. I want it to be light. Light. There we go. Okay. Hey, Deborah! Thank you so much! From Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness. I have family from Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. How's your Sunday been going? Oh, well, learning how to make mistakes. This is my first time painting a face. Like I've like with watercolor. I've painted faces before, but not with not with watercolor, and it shows. Mm. Okay. So it looks like what's happening with the blue here is that it is definitely neutralizing out some of the orangey yellow turns, and it's kind of giving her a grayish look instead. I'm okay with that. Really very delicate procedure here. Okay. Okay. I know it doesn't look like I'm doing a lot, but I'm just kind of adding and seeing how I feel, and then taking away, and then adding where I feel like it could work. Okay. There we go. And hopefully by layering this and adding and subtracting and adding and subtracting, we'll be able to get a more cohesive look so that when I add actual colors, that it'll already have this base foundation that will give it the right feel and the right dimensions and textures. There we go. Faces are so hard. uh, and what details you leave in or leave out are also just as important. Like for instance, everybody has bags under their eyes. Everybody. But if you add the bags under your eyes, everybody will it'll make this. It could make her look more tired than you would probably notice on any regular person. Because I went out of my way to point it out. So you have to be really careful with what details you add. Oh wow, little differences with each decision. Yeah, this is hard. This is a lot harder than I anticipated it would be. Watching other artists do it, and I got a little. I'm not gonna lie, a little frustrated right now, because it's not panning out like I imagined it would. But this is all part of the learning process, and every artist has to go through this, right? Like I'm not the first person to be frustrated by this. So the more I practice, the better I will be the next time I go to paint, when I go and paint a face. And right now I'm kind of graying her face out, which is not like the best decision to make, but it is, I think, where I'm going to go with it so that I don't, so that when I go and add more color, that dimension's already there, like I said earlier. Whew. It is time consuming. That's why watercolor is one of the more difficult ones, is it not? Okay. So if you were, a lot of you weren't here at the beginning when I was going through the changes I made to this face from when I originally sketched it on my last art hour. But when I went to go through discuss this jawline, what I decided I was going to do is that this part was going to be defined, this part was going to be defined, but this part was going to be less defined to show that she does, while she does have a strong jaw, it is not severe. So, with that in mind, we are going to add little bits by little bits and keep that shaded, but not defined. Nope, too much. There we go. Whew. So it doesn't look like much has really changed, but to me, this is really helpful. It has really, I don't think that the camera's doing it justice. I really do feel like I have a better shape for what the face looks like and how I would go about coloring it in my next steps and in any face in the future. Okay. Sorry guys, keep bumping the camera. Okay. Pick challenging subjects. I know, right? Like, drawing and painting are just two separate ways of thinking. Like, I knew that just from how I am, but like, how you have to think during painting versus how you have to think for drawing, There is obviously some crossover, but it is very difficult. They require two different types of thinking. Okay. Let's get this area a little wetted and start adding some colors. Adding some shading. And maybe by the end of this she'll look more like a mermaid than anything, because she'll look a little bit green, but I don't care at this point. Is that bad? Okay, now for the collarbone. Move the water over so I can move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Sternums are hard, by the way, because you want to draw, everybody has sternums, right? But if you draw them too harshly, people look skeletal. Oh, nope. Stop that. Getting messages from people. This is not the time, don't you know? I'm in an art hour. I'll use the bigger brush now. I need it to kind of bring this out a little bit. Ah, it's still got some yellow on it. That's not good. We don't want more yellow. We have more than enough yellow right now. Okay. There we go. Better. Better. Okay. Okay. Faintest of lines. Faintest of shadings. Totally worth the wait. Ta-da! Okay. Now. Let's see. I'm gonna let the skin dry a little bit. Let it dry. Oh, nope. Forgot the throat here. There we go. And we're gonna go on to what the heck and heck. What the heck and heck, guys. what color do I want to do this? I think for this, I think for that we'll do bright red. We'll have it be bright red. You can never go wrong with red lettering, I feel. Okay. Go a little bit bolder than these letters will be a little bit thicker. And if I decide to do that, I have to remember I'm going to be doing that for the rest of them too. So I think we'll do these lines first, not just letters, but we'll just do these sections of the entire lettering, so I am in the same consistent mindset when doing them. Have fun. Old Aunt Debbie must sign off bedtime. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you have a great evening and a great week. Okay. Go. There's nothing special about this eye. I just made it a line. Maybe I'll add little, like a top and a bottom to it. Just a tiny little top. Little top hat. Your shoes. Ta-da. Lettering, lettering. Hope that eye came out a little thicker. A little thicker. And if I keep nothing else as bold and red like this, then when people see this heck and heck, they will see the red in the lips, and it will kind of draw attention to that. So it'll be like, what the heck and heck, and she's expressing it with her lips, and they'll think, oh yeah, heck and heck. They might make the same pouty face too. Then gotta go with these curved letters. Curved letters are hard, by the way. Fun. Very, very fun, but hard. Yep, that does draw out the lips. Yay! Good, good. Okay. Now, how to do the other bits. Let's do... Okay. Do I want this to be thinner or the same width as the other side of the H? I think I'll try to go for the same size. Go. Oh. Don't know if you guys really know this, but I am kind of holding my breath when it comes to the lettering. Each little bit counts, right? Oh, shoot. I got some on my hand. And I got some on the paper. And on her face. Oh. Alright. Duly noted, don't do that. Oh well. It is what it is. We're almost done here. Pimple, yeah. I mean, people have pimples. I have pimples. Maybe that's what she's upset about. She's looking in the mirror and she's going, "What the heck and heck?" And she's going at her forehead. She's looking at her forehead, going, "I have a hot date tonight. This is not acceptable. Why is this happening to me? This is not okay." And she has to think about how much makeup she's gonna be used to cover that, or she just might use a hat. And since I already messed up her yellow forehead, we just might put a hat or a headband or something to hide her forehead entirely. There you go. What the heck and heck. Oil. Oil! Okay. Face is so oily. Cannot can be contained. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm so intimidated by the skin. So intimidated. So we're just gonna, I guess, I'm gonna continue making red in this hair scrunchie. Ugh. And just bring the piece together. Why not? When cover up goes wrong. Yes. Like when you see those ladies do their contouring, like in the middle of their contour, they do not look so good. They look like crazy people putting on costume makeup. But then at the end of it, they look like extremely handsome, like extremely pretty with all these like extremely good looking uh skin and everything. And you just go, wow, you look like a clown just 5 minutes ago, but you look great now. Maybe it's break time for your hand, right? Right? Okay, there we go. Okay. So this feels like it's coming together, even though the skin is intimidating. It feels like it's coming together. So maybe just in lieu of the red and the black, we'll have red and then a black top. So that way we don't have to really actually worry about shading the top so much. So we might just do that first. So let's get that going. Very, very carefully around the face. And sports tops are generally black anyway. Keep putting water on here. There we go. All right. This is what I want. I want I want some of these pretty moments with the watercolor. Don't care it's a boob. This is pretty. Coloring is pretty. All right. Deep breath. Oof. So now let's go in, and I think I'm ready to go in and do the face. I'm ready to go in and do the face. It is very terrifying, but I think I'm ready. Let's do some eyebrows. I still have the hair color from before in my palette, so I'm just going to be using that same hair color to do the eyebrows. I'm going to just, again, just try and do it lightly at first. Because like the hairline with eyebrows, there is no, unless you have a heavy pencil, there are going to be hairs like that come out, and they ruin the line, as it were. Add some dots, I think. Show it's a little bushy eyebrow. Oh. Okay. Oof. Go. Now to kind of make it a little bit bushier. Hopefully not too bushy. Don't want her to look like a caveman. There we go. Not too bushy, I hope, but definitely there. She's got attitude. It's showing in her eyebrows. Okay. And her skin is definitely not popping over here, so I'm going to add some more definition to the hair so that the skin pops. The eye pops. There we go. Okay, now let's do some eyelashes. And usually people are like, oh, let's do black, but I really like to do black if another color will work. Obviously for these letters, that was on purpose with the what the and the black top. But when it comes to eyelashes or anything else where it is expected to be black, I think generally find it's better to not do that. Okay. Because it ends up looking too dark. Okay. So we're going to lightly go in with some eyelashes here. Hey, Jason! Thanks for joining. Glad you like it. Yeah, so we're going to go in with some eyelashes, and hopefully it will work out. Eyelashes are generally very difficult, I think, until you get the gist of it, because they are pretty much flat, unless they are curled purposefully. They do have a little bit of a curl to them naturally, but when eyes are opened, they generally stick out at you fairly straight on. Ow! Sorry, guys. Bumping the camera. And so when you go to draw eyes, they kind of do a little bit of a dip from the eyelid, and then they go up. So they kind of cover the eye a little bit. There's a little part of the eyelid, a little part of the eye that gets covered from the eyelashes. And they don't happen to do straight either. They sometimes come out at an angle. So you don't want them to be too straight, or they look unnatural. Okay, so the top eyelashes are done. That's good. And for this, I really want my brush to be as dry as possible. I don't want it to accidentally oversaturate and leak out onto the canvas. So when I am doing this, the brush is actually quite dry, and there is mostly pigment and not so much water. A little water, not much water. Okay. Now for the bottom lashes. With bottom lashes, you don't need to make them as full as the top. In fact, you really just want to do like sometimes you just need to do dots to indicate that they're there, and kind of do a couple that do the normal eyelash thing, but overall you don't need to do as many. Not unless your subject has mascara on, of course. Okay. Ta-da! Why is it? There we go. Not focusing. I do think I do want the lashes to be a tad darker, so I am going to go in to dip a little bit into the black. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm going to do a couple of darker eyelashes. Not black. Not completely black, but dark. Okay. Ta-da! Alright, I like that. Oof. Hey, she's looking to be a very grumpy but very beautiful lady. Okay. Are you guys nervous? I'm nervous about this whole color business. Okay. So how am I going to paint the rest of her skin and not make it look so terrible like I did in my first attempt? I think I'm going to do more of the pink yellow. And in order to do that, I'm going to replenish my my palette, because my palette is pretty much taken up. So I will be right back. You guys can just take a look and see what you think there. Thank you for your patience. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Glad you like them. Oof. They're not done yet, but they are getting there. They're getting there. Okay. So, right, have a clean bowl. And now to add some pinky, maybe a little purpley skin tone. And like some blush. Hopefully she'll have some blush going on. If I can actually manage to do that without making her face look weird. Okay. So now I have this. This is gonna pick up any color that I don't want. And we're going to take little dabs of color, mix them up, and then pray hard. Pray hard, people. Okay. Okay, I'm adding some yellow. And adding some more red. Okay. Let's start with the neck. And if I like the neck, I can move on to the face. See, I'm still avoiding the face. Still avoiding the face. Okay. I'm going to take out the big brush and water this whole area so it'll be more consistent. Oh, shoot. More consistent coloring. Did go outside the lines a little bit. But hey, this is all part of the show, right? It's all a learning process. Okay. I'm going to take our slightly blue shoulder and we're going to add some orangish pink yellow to it. Okay, that's looking acceptable. Let's go on over here. Get her left shoulder wet. Okay, I'm feeling confident about that. Let's go on into the face. Oh, sorry. I'm off to make dinner and lunches. Love you, Mom. Have a good evening. I hope you have a great week. Oh my goodness. That drop is just sitting on there. Ugh. Looks like a drop of honey. Almost looks like jewelry. But that is not acceptable. That's not what we want. So we're going to just pick that right up. What time is it anyway? Oh, it's after. It's been 2 hours, huh? Wow. Oh, this is what happens when you underestimate how long something's gonna take, right? I thought this was gonna be easier, but faces are very, very hard, it turns out, which we already knew. But getting the right colors on a face with watercolor, whew, oh boy, whole other beast. Okay. think we're almost done here. Okay, see if I can fix this forehead. Okay, so she kind of looks like she's wearing makeup. I'm okay with that. Ugh. Oof. Oh boy. Oy vey. Oy vey, my friends. Okay. Okay, I think that I will do some more, but I am done for now. This is just where we're going to end up in this art hour. I hope that you all enjoyed the art hour and that you learned a little bit. I certainly did. I certainly learned how not to do a face, and then learned how to do a face. It is, of course, always a learning experience. I think skin tone is something I'm probably going to do a lot more research and practice on in order to get this to have the right feel and tone and value. But overall, I'm quite pleased with how this has turned out. All right. All right. I hope you all. Oop, gotta get that curl going. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you all have a great week. Bye.